This back here is my wife's Audi RSQ8. You've probably already seen another video about it, but unfortunately, it needs a little more work. Shortly after we finished filming that last video, the brake pad light came on, which means we need to do a brake job. And I have no idea how to do that on an RSQ8. So come along for the ride. This is one of the back brake discs, and it's pretty large. It's like the size of a Miata wheel, and it's because this car is extremely heavy. It goes through brake pads like crazy, and yes, some of you would probably be screaming at me right now, you should replace the rotors at the same time as the pads. I'm a baller on a budget. These front rotors are definitely larger than your average Miata wheels. So as you can imagine, parts for these brake systems are not cheap. And that's why I didn't buy OEM. So Audi charges over $1,000 after tax and shipping for OEM pads, which I think is a little ridiculous. And yes, these are steel brakes, not the carbon ceramics. I don't even want to know what those cost. Hey, Greg from the future here. I was editing this part of the video and I was trying to recall in the moment what I was quoted about 2 or 3 months ago from Audi for pads. And the rotors were separate. I think they quoted those as well, but I didn't want to pay for new rotors because, I mean, at that point we were looking at $6-7 grand just in parts. Yes, just in parts. What I said in the video is wrong. The $1,000 quote for pads alone was only for the rears. The fronts were more expensive, $1,300. So you're looking at $2,500 after tax and shipping just for pads for steel brakes, which is just baffling. And then of course they want another $1,000+ on top of that for labor, and that's not including replacing the rotors, which is another reason why I decided to not replace the rotors in this video. Again, some of you are gonna scream at me, that's totally fine. I'm going to squeeze as much life out of these rotors as possible because the pricing is just insane. So yeah, I got it wrong. It's more than double the price just for the parts from Audi, not aftermarket. I bought aftermarket. Any guesses on how much this weighs, Tommy? These are massive.
Yeah, do what I think you're gonna do.
There you go. It's like, what, 15, 20 pounds maybe?
At least.
Dude, these are like the biggest brake pads I've ever seen. It's probably why they cost a lot. You can see $604.55 from Triton Motorsports. Shout out to them. They sent these super quick from overseas. Where do we start? This weighs so much. Look at this, just one of these. They're just massive. You can see this particular compound is mixed with a bit of ceramic, if I recall. So these cost a bit more than the standard steel pads, which should reduce brake dust. Yep, there we are. These are like Pee-wees by comparison, but still need to be changed. Please ignore the neglect. You can see that's what the wheel should look like. And this is what it currently looks like. And all of that is brake dust. Right, so let's get the car jacked up. I hope I don't jack up the car in the process. She's small, but she packs a punch. Surgeon-like precision here, fellas. I'm gonna pull straight back. Oh yeah, it's a cap. Woo! This is probably like 10 bucks. Just one of these. It's not a joke.
Why? Why does it have caps?
I think it's for aesthetics. They want you to think that we're using larger lugs than... Because that's like a thing, I guess. I'm gonna guess a 17.
All right, I say 19.
You say 19? I think you're gonna owe me dinner. Let's see.
Whoa, dude, what? We're going to Taco Bell.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with Taco Bell. It's a 17.
Oh no!
Taco Bell's on Tommy.
Ding.
And we're just gonna break these loose before we finish jacking up the car. Because, oh god, yeah. Because otherwise, these wheels might spin a bit. This is an all-wheel drive car, but it's just generally good practice. I wonder if this is one of those suspensions that just like keeps going up, you know, and it never stops.
The car's going up.
Yeah, but the wheel isn't. That's a problem. Gosh, dude, look how high I am. We're like, my jack is almost maxed out, bro.
I hear it. It's moving now.
Yeah, I think it's 1 or 2 more cranks here.
There you go.
All right, that's got to be off. Yeah, we're good. So you always want to just barely lift it up to where it's suspended above the ground. And then quick way to take these off is just to get an impact now that they're already broke. And then you can slide the wheel off. It won't fall because, again, it's just barely hanging. And see, yeah, these are lug bolts, not nuts. So The wheel's just gonna fall once they're all out. I was gonna say this wasn't that heavy, but now that I'm sliding it backwards, it's pretty heavy. Whew. Jeez, that's a heavy tire. I think it's a 23. I think it's a 23-inch rim. And then 295s, square. So not the cheapest tire. Trust me, I had to buy new ones when we bought the car. And you know what I just realized? Tommy, if you want to take a peek on the left side of this. Do you notice anything on the back side of that?
Oh no, dude.
Yeah, the whole caliper's got to come off. I would hate to do suspension work on this car. Oh God, everything is just massive. You got your freaking air ride up here. You got these huge knuckles, control arms, blah, 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 whatever other suspension gears back here. Everything is just huge and heavy. This probably weighs like 40 pounds. So we're gonna have to get like a box or something to put under this for when it comes off. Hopefully it comes off.
After using a breaker bar on the caliper bolts, they slid right out, and you can see here just how large they were. Apparently, there are multiple RSQ8 brake setups, with some having bolts threading in from the back rather than the side. We learned this the hard way. And this, by the way, was a T60, if I recall. As expected, these front calipers were heavy, so we took our time wiggling them off of the rotors, setting them carefully on a stack of 2x4s inside the wheel well, of course with the insides facing toward us to make removal of the original pads easier. Next, I disconnected the brake pad wear sensor. A kit of replacements was set to arrive the next day and only cost me around $20 from a premium. Had I gone OEM, I'd be looking at over $100, and of course, this is the route Audi themselves would have taken had I taken the car into the dealership for service. Now, to actually remove the old pads, we later found out we merely had to reach inside the caliper with the clips still in place, and this is unlike any other brake I've seen, and thankfully, my senseless prying here didn't damage the original metal clips. If you have an RSQ8, SQ8, or Q8 with the same brake assembly we have, do not try prying these from the outside. In fact, they can remain in place the entire time. After compressing the 6 caliper pistons up here, the new thicker pads were slid into place and the entire assembly was prepped for remounting to the carrier.
You might need these, Tommy. The rotor freely spins, so there's that. Of course, this is all going to be compressed once we get brake pressure again, the car starts up. Depress the brakes and this will all squeeze together. But there's no clanking, no clunking. I think we did all right for our first time.
3 more to go.
Yeah, don't remind me.
Truck tire, bro.
Dude, this thing's huge, man.
Truck wheel, I mean.
I'm just gonna keep rotating it till the lugs line up, just to get them started. There you go. Now, rest of the way. Oh, dude, that was a calf workout. There we go. Gotta have a feather touch when it comes to the impact gun, because you can really mess things up if you have just fat fingers on this trigger. Yep, okay, maybe not that much. But now it's resting a good bit, but not all the way. And we'll come back around. Oh, yeah. We'll give her a good torque. There are actual torque specs for these, by the way. We're just eyeballing it today. Oh, and don't forget your little covers. Maybe we'll keep these off until after we drive it. It's late, we'll wait till tomorrow to do that and we'll finish these up. I am ashamed to say this one brake took, how long, Tommy?
It's a learning curve for us.
It's a learning curve for us. It took
29 minutes.
A very shameful amount of time. But the next one's gonna go by in probably 20, 25 minutes, I would say.
Oh yeah.
I hope. It is absolutely storming outside, so if you hear thunder, that is why. You know, summer's in Florida. Tommy has been sent home because we're taking way too long on this. So one breakdown. I also want to give a huge shout out to Tommy. So you guys know by now, Tommy has been here for a couple of videos, but he has been an enormous help. I mean, it's really great working with somebody who has the same passions I do. He loves PCs, he loves cars. And yeah, Tommy, if you're watching, thank you again so much. So let's see what we have here. I'm hoping that these fit. Amazon said they did, so I'll cross our fingers. And at first glance, it looks like we are actually in the clear. All right. So I think it's time we get back to work. Come along for the ride.
To round out this first break, all I had to do was remove the wheel once more and connect the replacement brake pad wear sensor. These are important since they'll tell us in the future when these are thinning out. Of course, you could always just visually inspect like the old days, but this is more convenient. And thankfully, they clipped right in without needing to remove the caliper all over again. And the connection was ran comfortably behind the rotor in its original position. A little brake clean later, and we were finally finished with one of the 4 corners. As expected, the second one went much faster than the first, especially since we now knew not to fiddle with those clips holding the pads in place. Once we could access things from the inside of the caliper, the old pads popped right out and the new ones snapped in nice and snug. As for the rears, they were easier to manage single-handed since they were much smaller than the fronts, but we had an extra step to work around. See, with the new pads in, we still had to compress the pistons inside each caliper, but we also had to work around the pesky electronic parking brake. And this requires a bit of work on the inside with our trusty OBD11 tool. Now this is not to be confused with OBD2. I get folks in the comments saying, oh Greg, it's OBD2, that 2 symbol is not an 11. That's of course the interface we use to connect our tool to, but OBD11 works great with Volkswagen products for diagnosing and calibrating various control modules. So they are 2 separate things here. I'm not confusing the names or anything. I have used it to resync adaptive cruise control, clear troublesome codes, and fully release e-brakes like you're seeing here. Without this step, the rear caliper pistons won't fully compress, making reinstallation over the rotors with new thicker pads impossible. We had to do the same with our Audi S5 rebuild. I'll have the tool linked below if you're interested. It's not a sponsored bit, just a great tool at a great price. Just like that, without any clearing necessary, the car instantly recognized the replaced pads and sensors, and we no longer had a pesky warning in the dash. A quick test drive later, and we'd be good to go. Oh, and if you're curious, here's how thin our original rears were compared to the replacements. A service was definitely needed, to say the least. And would you look at that, the brake wear sensor did its job. So this was the one I found that had its connection severed, and once a pad in question does wear thin enough, friction from the disc shears through this wire, which sort of wraps around the pad, and this opens the circuit and triggers the brake wear warning in the dash. Pretty cool, but simple stuff.
Good old McGuire's. Fill this thing up pretty hefty with soap because these wheels are disgusting. Now, to all the serious car detailing critics out there, if any of you are watching this video, this isn't intended to be a tutorial. I don't have all the fancy equipment you guys have. I have some water, some soap, and a brush. We're gonna make it work. Start off with a real quick rinse. You see a lot of that brake dust is already leaving. Number 1 rule, I tell my kids when they help me wash my cars, never let the brush touch the ground, or the rag for that matter. You pick up a lot of gunk and you scratch up a lot of stuff. Tom, you remember in that movie Infinity War from Marvel?
Oh,
Thanos is like getting his butt kicked by Iron Man, right? And he hits him across the cheek, and Thanos says, "All that for a drop of blood." I want to say the same thing. All this for a single wheel. All this.
Rest in peace, Iron Man.
He was the best of us all.
He'll be back.
Yeah, I'm sure he will.
I'm still waiting.
Marvel's gonna bring him back though. He's Dr. Doom, right? And the last piece of the puzzle. Some people hate this, but I like the shine. And as long as you keep up with it, you clean the layers off. In the future, it ain't too bad. Helps with sportier tires like this as well. So, just gonna make sure they're good and dry. Already hit it with a blower. And then we'll just sprinkle a bit of this Meguiar's goodness. And we'll clean up the excess on the wheels. Just kinda do that. Yeah, that is one good looking wheel and tire combo again. This took forever. And that's a wrap. Finally, the brake job that took way longer than we expected is finished on the RSQ8. I cannot tell you how I just completely missed obvious stuff when I was buying this car. Just, you know, it's not huge stuff, but it's just routine, and I should have checked to see if the brake pads were actually square before I bought it, but the guys over at Florida Performance were super cool. They actually worked out something on the back end to make it right. This car has been a fantastic car, apart from, again, those wear and tear items. And now that we know how to change brake pads on this crazy car, I think we could do it on pretty much any other car, right, Tommy?
Let's go. Who's next?
Tommy is
Line
like,
him up.
His face is like, I'm kind of done with brakes for a while. So yeah, that's a wrap there. Thank you so much for watching this one. If you enjoyed it, give us a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and stay tuned for the next one. My name's Greg. Thanks for driving with us. Let's roll with that.